Our research question was focusing on the relationship between zoning and racial segregation and the early founding years of George Mason University. We were also interested in learning about the Black communities that immediately surrounded George Mason University and what happened to those communities. Were they displaced? Where did they go? What happened to individuals from those communities?
And what we're interested in is exploring the hidden histories of our region, and we want to better understand how our history has a direct impact on the issues and events that are going on today.
I think our research can be divided into two parts. So the first was kind of like a seminar with 2 weeks of heavy, intensive learning regarding like different topics that we were focusing on, such as housing, Black geographies, which is a very interesting topic that I hadn't looked at. So the intersection of many different academic fields regarding our topic. And we got to hear from different academics and their research on similar topics.
There was also a lot of researching if you found a specific person that you wanted to do something with or have something about them, finding ways to do research on them and what their history and their roots were in Fairfax or in the Northern Virginia area, and seeing the person behind the story you're trying to tell.
So there is a really close connection between the Enslaved Children of George Mason Project, which became the Enslaved People of George Mason Memorial, and Black Lives Next Door. And the connection, I mean, there are numbers of them, but the real connection is students asking a question.
The second aspect of my research actually involved conducting an oral history with one of the professors that were dismissed that I studied. His name was Robert Houston, so I ended up tracking him down, just scrolling white pages and phone books, and I actually ended up finding him through an ancestry website, and he had a portal that said, if you're a relative of mine, like, make an account and contact me. So I did it. And he was happy to talk, so we scheduled an interview, and the oral history will be added to the George Mason archives as well.
I hope that this is just an ongoing process, that we're constantly doing this research. But I really want us to have a bigger conversation in our university community. We should not pass by Merton Hall and School Street and the Rosenwald markers that are near our university and not stop and pause and think about those Black communities that were displaced in order for those housing developments and for part of George Mason University to be able to exist the way it does. And to me, that's really the secret and the key to us really being able to embrace our whole history as a university and to be able to move into a different future together.
I think another important thing would be for people to kind of contextualize the university, especially like since we talk a lot about diversity and inclusion, having an understanding of strife and disputes that were in the beginning of the university and throughout the time that the university has been present gives us more information about how we should be situating ourselves in the university and not just taking diversity as something that is forever present and has always been present.
I just always think it's important to know where we come from. George Mason loves to tout itself as a beacon of diversity, and in many ways it's made a ton of strides towards inclusivity on campus, but at the same time its origins are a little more uglier than we like to think. And the past certainly has a bearing on the present. So I think it's critical to understand so that we don't risk replicating the injustices that we've actively celebrated before. Even today, well-intentioned people can run the risk of reproducing racial inequality.
I think this project would be like a stepping stone to kind of looking into maybe Black Lives Next Door at universities everywhere. It wasn't easy to find. Obviously, it took us looking through thousands of pictures to find this information and find this evidence, but it's out there for everybody to see. And so I think when people in the time we're living in right now, I hope that people will kind of listen, take in what we did, and then maybe mimic it in other places. I do think it'll make a significant impact